It's baked pasta night, so I'm going to show you how to slow ferment some sourdough noodles. I went ahead and got all of this started before I went to bed last night. You will need either all-purpose flour or bread flour, room temperature sourdough discard, and 2 eggs. I'm going to use my stand mixer and a dough hook for the sake of time, but you could always go old school and mix your pasta on your table. Into my bowl, I'm going to pour roughly 250 grams of flour, 100 grams of discard, and then crack my 2 eggs in. I clicked my bowl into my mixer, attached my dough hook, and got it going on the 2 speed. I let it run until my dough was well combined. I then turned off my mixer, lowered the bowl, and removed my dough hook. I want to make sure that I get my hands on that dough and work it a little bit before I place it back in the bowl and cover it overnight. I typically use beeswax wrap and a rubber band to cover it, but if you don't have that on hand, that's okay. Saran wrap or a plastic bag will do the trick. After my workout this morning, I returned to my dough ball and gave it a look. It rose beautifully and is nice and soft, so I'm going to scrape it out of my bowl. Depending upon the temperature or the humidity in your home, your ball may not always behave the same way. If it gets a little crusty crust up on the top, it's okay, you can knead it in, no big deal. If it's super extra fluffy and extra sticky, also not a big deal, just use a little bit more flour when you work it. I'm splitting my dough ball into 8 pieces. They don't have to be perfectly even, mine never are and they still come out just fine. I'm now lightly flouring my little dough sections so that it doesn't stick to my pasta roller. I'd like to run my dough ball through my pasta roller at a slightly thicker setting, I use a 2, before I go ahead and flour it again and run it through between an 8 and a 9. That's the thickness that we prefer our pasta, but size, shape, thickness are completely up to you. This dough is very versatile. I'm now laying my pasta sheet onto my cutting board before grabbing my pizza cutter and cutting out my noodles. They don't have to be perfect either. I hang all of my noodles on a fancy little pasta hanger that my mom got me for Christmas, but if you don't have one, you can use the handle on your oven. It's what I did before I had a handy little hanger. And if you don't have a pasta roller, that's okay too. You can roll your dough out with a rolling pin and cut it the same way. I'll keep repeating this process over and over again until I'm all out of dough. And then I'll leave it all to hang dry until I'm ready to cook dinner tonight. And there you have it. Cook it up like any noodle you'd get from the store and enjoy.